I would, you wouldn't.
All right, we'll pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I mean, a good description. I pledge allegiance. Are we not there?
We got you covered.
You already did that?
You did?
Paulie's hollering at me. You've never hollered at me, Paul. You're on edge. You must be a Chiefs fan.
All right, we got minutes. Third time's a charm. Howdy, sir.
Good afternoon.
FOE, shouldn't it be FOR? Or
Where?
did you already do that?
Where?
For the machine, the mail machine for office.
Yeah. You know what it means. That's fine.
Okay.
We'll deal with it. We've already changed it a bunch of times.
Oh, all right.
So. I'll correct it right here. I'll make it into an R for our part that we. And she changed the comma on this on yours on the 51,000. The comma is in the wrong spot.
Oh.
So. It's okay. So this one, the one I have is correct.
Okay.
So, I suppose I got to make a motion to accept the minutes as corrected for that R.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Yep.
Right. Paul, what are you doing with staples over here? You got like 10 million staples.
Collection.
You're stapling away.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What paperwork do you have for us?
The only thing I have, I did get another application, but this is for planning board, which was filled, I believe, right? For Suzanne.
Yes. Who was it?
Suzanne Torno.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah, what I do is I give the name to Jen, just so she knows somebody that's interested. Just like there was another gentleman that came in this afternoon that said he might be interested, but it's filled. So I gave her them just so she can write down if we have vacancies, and then at least we have some backups.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. But that was it.
All right. Cool. And you might reach out to her just to let her know.
Yeah, I will let her know.
That everything's filled. We actually got to change the sign.
Yeah.
Speaking of signs, any idea what we ought to put down on our sign out there? We don't need planning board members anymore.
Oh, what else do we need?
I think all our committees are.
They're all full?
I think they're all full, yeah.
Oh, well, maybe we can announce something that's upcoming. I don't know. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll ask Dale too in case she's got something to.
I mean, if we don't have anything
Is
else.
there anything else going on in town? I mean, that we could put there? Or?
Well, taxes are going to be due. I mean, dog licenses, taxes, I don't know.
Right.
Hopefully.
Not in September, I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
And we could say tax bills are on their way. I mean, they are.
Are they on their way?
They will be next week.
Next week.
Good. Awesome.
So that's about it. Just what everybody wants to hear.
Well, it'll be better than last year.
Yes. Well, on that it's a little bit late because this Sunday. So yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. What's up?
Same old, you?
Same old.
Thank you.
All right. We're gonna go into. Is the chief still on for 5:30, right?
Yes.
Okay. Referendum reviews. So there's was it 4? I had actually I have another piece of paperwork I do. So this was a gentleman put in for travel reimbursement for the planning board for training he went to.
Yep.
Jordan has never done any of this, and I guess there was one person had a while back last term had put in for it that got denied. It was for training. Is there a reason to do that? I mean,
Not that I know of.
I mean, if they're
We always got
we pay for
mileage
we
for
pay for their
training.
training, and even if it's a volunteer, they still get.
Absolutely.
Yep. So we don't have. I don't have. You have an issue with this?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
You don't have an issue?
No.
That's fine.
Why would they get denied?
Yes. Do we need to sign that or? Okay. So that'll be on the AP, please.
Okay.
As far as, so there's a few referendums that we were looking at to put on in November. I guess the question, I think there's 3 that like need to go on without a doubt, and then there may be a couple that we can debate. The bridge one
You have to do it right.
we need to do because the state needs to know.
Mhm.
The state needs to know that, we're committed to getting that done, so we can raise. It doesn't have us raise money, but the intent is to do that, so they can move forward on the planning side. So, I mean, we really need to do that to give the state authorization to continue. So that one really has to. This one's already gone through legal MMA. So that one I think is really needed. The other one that I think is needed is the amendment to the main uniform building energy code administrator for the town of Lebanon, which what it does is it adds third-party inspectors. They're main certified third-party inspectors, and that can be for a bunch of reasons. Right now, we don't. Third-party inspectors are used for commercial. So they have to be used for commercial because Mike's not allowed to do it. So if it's used for commercial, why can't they be used for? And they are main certified.
Absolutely.
So it's no different than
There is no.
Mike. Are they easier? Are they harder? I don't know. It's no different than. I mean, I'm not going to debate whether they're doing their job or whether they're not doing the job. It's no different than debating whether Mike's doing his job or not. There's no, so. But if we ever have, let's say Mike's sick, or Mike goes out with the flu for a couple of weeks, then without having this in there, we actually can't use third-party inspectors.
Personally, I think it's ridiculous. If someone wants to hire a third-party inspector, that's their business.
Well,
and they're well certified. I mean, they're more certified.
We don't lose money.
No.
We don't lose money. We don't lose, but the reason I say there's a need is because we don't have the ability right now. And so I don't want to wait until May to add this. So that's
I
think we need to add this. And so because again, Mike could trip and fall in the winter, and now all of a sudden we don't. And then if we don't have one, then we can't do anything until we get a brand new one in here. So by ordinance. So that's that. So again, I haven't really changed it. I've just gone through, and you can see it's in bold. They basically just adding to allow a third party inspector. That's all I've really done.
So how did that get changed? I mean.
So the only changes I've done is I've shown you the clause.
Right.
In that ordinance, I just pulled out that piece, and in bold is what I've changed.
Okay. So.
I try to give you.
Well, I'm just saying what we have to show to the people. So.
I don't know whether you showed them the full.
Well, no.
Just with the changes. I mean.
Well, yeah. You would whole thing or just what's changed, but, I mean, you
that's
could-
why I kinda did it this way to as follows, section 3 to read, and I showed.
But we don't want all that on the ballot.
Well, no, but what do you do when you approve an ordinance?
Well, you can say copies are available at the town office or on the
Right,
website
that's
or
what we do,
whatever.
that's what we do with this.
Right,
To amend the, as, how do you do an ordinance? I mean, to amend it, and then copies are,
where's
There
that
for people
file
to
I
see.
gave you? Remember the file I gave you when I copied all that
I just don't
stuff?
know how I don't know how that gets worded.
Yeah,
And then we just have this as a handout where they can see how it was amended.
yes, and you can put it on the website and we write that underneath. And it'll be available on election day.
Right. Yeah, I just don't know how to write that.
Well, ordinances are
wording.
very
Right,
different, you
exactly.
can't just write anything, so.
So that's that, I mean, and then the only other one is the cable one.
Oh, yeah, cable one.
And the only reason I say that is because we actually are supposed to sign off on this new one with Atlantic.
Yep.
And that's what prompted our attorneys to ask whether we even had this ordinance, and we don't. So this ordinance allows us to have a franchise.
Yes,
Right now, we don't have an ordinance that even allows us to have a franchise, and so it's kind of doing it a little bit backwards, but, and this is just boilerplate, it's just not, and again, we could have more than one franchise. This does go up to 15 years, but it says up to. So it's a franchise, and the reason is because a lot of cable providers they're not gonna invest in a town infrastructure
Obviously.
for a couple of years. So that would supersede the 3-year contract that's out there, but that would just be for this. And it's not exclusive, they don't get any exclusivity. So it doesn't, it really leaves the town wide open to do whatever is best for the town. So that's that.
Okay.
Those are the 3 that I think need to be in November, because there's an urgency.
Yep,
The solid waste ordinance and the town forest, I mean, those are the other 2 that I had thought we could put on there. And the primary reason was I'm trying to take off some of the workload from May. That's not too contentious. Because I wanted May, because it tends to have a bigger turnout. And, I mean, who knows, it may be different because we got a casino vote, but who knows. But we could defer those until May, because the town forest isn't gonna go anywhere, so we could easily defer that one.
yep,
The solid waste, we've been running under the current ordinance for a decade or whatever, so
right,
6 more months isn't gonna
right,
change anything. Part of the ordinance I had in there allows us to set up a policy for permitting, so we can still do that. As far as stickers we can still, continue with that. That doesn't hold up that.
okay.
So
No,
I
that's
just-
fine.
I just throw that out there, what you guys wanna do.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah, we have to do
I
this
wanna
one.
wait till May.
On those others?
No, on the,
On all of them?
no, the ones we really need, the bridge and the other.
Well, we can do these 3.
So those 3?
The cable ordinance, cable television, and then changing to the third party, so they can have a third party, cause, well, and the
So
new
those
bridge
3.
thing, yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
And then hold the 2 others, the town forest and the solid waste
Yes.
until,
Yeah,
okay, that's fine, that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm good with that.
okay.
So, did you read the New Bridge Road thing?
Yeah.
Did you read that one?
Yes,
So I make a motion to place the New Bridge Bridge referendum on the November ballot.
Second.
yeah, and
Any
it has to
questions?
be written like this, I assume. Did somebody already okay?
Yeah, that's why it says article, but, there's a little thing that says article and then shall the town. Yep. Yeah, the S is in capital S, shall the town, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I have a second for that,
Yeah,
and then all those in favor?
Yep.
Do you want a copy, or I'll just give that to you? And then, do we wanna I can make a motion to put this amendment on there, but we just have to get the wording right, or do I have to
Well-
make a motion on how it's worded?
well. Shall the town of Lebanon amend the So we're amending the Maine Uniform Building and Energy Code Administrative Ordinance.
Town of Lebanon, Maine, that's how it's
Town of
titled.
Lebanon, Maine.
That's how it's titled.
And when was it adopted?
I don't have that in front of me.
We should write that on so there's no confusion. So this is good, because it should say, shall the Town of Lebanon amend the Maine Uniform Building and Energy Code Administrative Ordinance, Town of Lebanon, Maine, adopted.
Adopted on
When it
blank.
was-
Okay.
Which, did we just vote on that last time?
It was a couple years
No,
ago. I think it was a couple years ago.
And I might have that in there, which I'll look after.
I mean, I have it there.
Okay.
I can pull it up.
Yep, and then copies available at the town office and on the website should be written underneath,
So then after that, it's
like in parentheses or something. I don't care.
copies
Mhm.
are available. Are available where? Are available.
At the town office and on the website, or,
But is that actually on the ballot? It's not on the ballot.
Yes.
yes, I think you have to put it on the ballot, so they have to, because if they
At
get an
town
absentee
office.
ballot, they need to know where they can find it.
Or website.
Yeah.
Or,
And then we
or
have to
town website.
Yeah, and we have to certify that ordinance to her,
We have to what?
we have to certify it.
We have to?
Yeah.
The clerk does.
No, we certify it to her, cause that's signing off, this is the ordinance we're
We
voting.
certify this to her?
The
Or-
ordinance to her, what we're doing, yes,
Oh.
so she has, so they're not 10,000 copies, this is the copy. It's just the municipal office have to certify that to her.
Is that upon approval or is that upon before it goes on?
Yes,
Okay.
cause she has to have the direction, where is it, certification for liveness.
Do I make a motion to do that or do I just make a motion to do this and
Well,
then
we can make a
the
motion to
details
do
we
this.
can figure that out?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So let's, I make a motion that we amend, that we place on the referendum, and place on the ballot a referendum to amend the Maine Uniform Building and Energy Code Administrative Ordinance, Town of Lebanon, Maine. Adopted, that will be,
on-
we'll
we gotta
find the
that
date of the adoption.
And I might have it somewhere.
So that's, yeah, I mean, the wording doesn't have to be that, I mean, we have to sign off on that, because we have to sign off on the ballot anyways, correct?
On the warrant we do,
On the
but she
warrant.
needs this ahead of time.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, so the exact wording we have to sign off on anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna worry
Yeah.
about the exact wording, because we have to sign off on that anyway. So I make a motion that, we place on the ballot a referendum to amend the Maine Uniform Building and Energy Code Administrative Ordinance, Town of Lebanon, which essentially is gonna add third-party inspectors to the ordinance. Okay, all those in favor?
And then we're gonna do the franchise,
And again, we'll get,
the cable one?
Yep.
Or did you already do that?
and then, I make a motion to, place on the ballot a referendum, establishing a cable television ordinance
I'm just writing what it's gonna
for the
say.
town of Lebanon, for this.
Shall the ordinance entitled cable television,
Some of them do it CATV, some of them do it cable, I just think cable television is easiest.
be enacted, okay,
You doing the wording? Yeah.
well, what is supposed to be, yeah, okay, alright.
So I'll say it again, I make a motion to place on the ballot a referendum establishing a cable television ordinance for the town of Lebanon.
Second.
All those in favor? I'll give that to Jen, but you'll get stuff from.
Yeah,
as
we'll fix
far as
this.
all the right wording and all
Yeah,
that kind of
and
good
the
stuff.
certification that we're gonna have to sign, but
So,
anyway.
alright. And then the other two, I'll let John Bozak know that we're gonna hold off till May on the town forest.
Yeah.
And the solid waste will hold off on May, and we have Kevin coming in next Tuesday.
Still want to come in?
Yeah, as long as he
Okay,
has input.
all right,
Yeah, I don't mind getting his input for the,
all right.
so, yeah, so. Instead of, I'm not gonna wait till April to do it, I might as well do it now since he's scheduled. get his
Whatever.
input, so, all right.
Yep.
You guys good with that? You guys ready to turn over to chief?
Yep.
All right, Connell,
Yeah.
you're on.
We wanted to have a little workshop on training.
Huh?
We wanted to have a little workshop
Yep.
on training.
Yep. All right. Training.
Right.
So let's instead of doing what we're doing now, let's just kind of start plain and simple and just build and
Yeah.
we'll talk about what we do now or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll go from the start. So somebody brand new comes in. I want to be part of the fire department. Brand new, no experience. What happens? How do I get trained? How do I get?
They
I
only,
don't need the personnel stuff.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah,
need
yeah.
just purely
Yeah.
the training
they
stuff.
only offer Fire 1 and 2 class at certain times, and it's usually starting in December, and it goes until May. So there's two area places. Now they're looking at changing up some training, but the way it is right now is that there's one in North Berwick and there's one in the York Chiefs, and so we'll send somebody there to get their Fire 1 and 2.
So driver, do I get driver training first?
No, because we can start you, if you come in brand new and you haven't driven anything or anything else, yeah,
Use
brand
me
new.
as an example.
So
I'm
you
brand
come in-
spanking new.
So what we'll do is that we'll get you trained
You know, I want to drive the big trucks.
Yeah, no. We'll get you trained on the squad, all the small trucks,
Okay.
the ambulances, the forestry. And then
And all that training is in-house.
that is in-house.
Okay.
Within a year, we'll find you a pumps class
Okay.
and a EVOC class, which is emergency driving apparatus.
So a pumps class?
Yes. With an EVOC class,
And an
which is
EVOC.
emergency vehicle driving
Okay.
course. It's a
Okay.
whole. It's like 4 days, 3
So
of
it's
it.
like run the lights.
Yeah, you're gonna learn more than that. So then, so and as you grow with that, then we'll get you, because before you can.
So that's within a year, or that's
Within a
after
year.
a year?
We'll try to get you in within the year. It depends on when these
And
classes are offered.
that coincides with firefighter 1 and 2, depending on when that's happening.
Yes.
So
Yes, because we've had some just finished Fire 1 and 2 and took a pumps and EVOC class.
okay, so in other words, if I got in and I have to wait 6 months for firefighter 1 and 2, because that's when it's scheduled, that's what I wait. But
Yeah.
if I happen to come in and it's next week, then I get in right away.
As long as it's okay through the board and everything.
Okay, and so let's go there. So now, the EVOC and the pumps are paid courses.
Most of them, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, and we
Is
always
it
look
just,
for the free classes first.
is it just those? There's a cost to it, but
Yes.
is it a one? Are those like 1 day classes? Are those
Pumps and EVOC are usually 3 to 4 days.
okay? And then that's just a charge that we pay to
Yeah.
whoever
Yeah.
puts on the course. And
Yeah.
there's no test.
No.
There's no licensing. There's no certification.
Well, you get a
there's no-
test in that, but that's all included.
It's all inclusive
Yeah.
in the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then firefighter 1 and 2
That's right.
is like a much longer course,
Oh, much, yes. It goes from December until May.
December until May, and then and those now, are there grants for any of these that we get? Is there
I haven't seen any grants for these.
okay? So it's
So-
grants more on the EMT side that there are.
Yeah.
They're not really on the firefighter
Yeah.
side. Okay.
So, and Larry out of North Berwick does his a couple $100 less than the Chiefs Association. That's why we put people over there.
Okay.
The first year was 1 person, the second year was 4, and this past year that the 4 that graduated was 4. So
Okay. So, do you have ballpark numbers for these classes as far as the cost?
$650 for the
So
Fire 1 and 2.
1 and 2
Yeah.
is $650
$650.
roughly. I mean, it
Yeah.
obviously can change a little bit.
The EVOC class that just went on a few months ago was $25 per person.
Okay, and the pumps class.
The pumps class, I know there's one coming up that I just put paperwork on. It was $150.
Just trying to get in.
But we've also have found a free class at one point, so we're always looking for those.
Okay, and so basically somebody brand new, if they wanna do rescue, can they go that side first,
Yes.
or do they
Yeah.
still have to do firefighter
Well,
one and
we
two
want them to
first?
be dual certified because we're a dual department.
Right.
So it's always during our application and interview saying, explaining that we're a dual service, that we do both.
Mhm.
That we'd like them to do both. And most people that come to us wanna do both.
Mhm.
So we'll let them, and it depends on when the classes are. If I can get them into an EMT class quicker than I can get them in fire 1 and 2, then let's get you in your EMT class and get you through that, then we'll get you through fire 1 and 2. Which we've done.
And so the goal is to get everybody firefighter 1 and 2 and EMT?
Yes.
Is that the goal?
Cross-trained dual role.
Cross-trained, yeah.
Now, is there a time frame before you, he arrives today, obviously you're not gonna take him.
How do you know?
Just saying.
I got
No, but is there a time frame before will invest all this time and effort and money into that?
Well, a lot of times what it is the class isn't offered right away.
Okay.
And if it is, we'd like to get them in as soon, because then we gotta wait another year before another class comes up. So we will say, we're gonna trust in you, and this is how it works, and, put them through it. And so far, it's worked out pretty well. But sometimes they have to wait a bit, so in that time, it's the introduction into the department, how things run, and get them at least driving the small vehicles.
Mm-hmm. And the EMT course is how much?
Oh, that runs anywhere from $950 to
Almost like 1,500 for like advanced and
up to
No,
advanced.
Not the
EMT.
advanced, just the basic.
just basic, yeah.
$950 to, you can say, $1,100.
So let's call it 1,000 for both.
Yeah, and that's just for the course. That's not the testing.
And so then on top of that, they get what? What kind of testing is it? So why is testing? What good is a course if you don't test for it?
Exactly.
So why is testing separate?
I've been trying to find out that same thing too, because the instructor will. When I took it, it was all inclusive, and I knew what my test and everything is. Once these people finish their test, they've got to go find their testing site in that, and they usually end up in Concord.
Finish their test. So
finish their class.
Okay.
Finish their class, they go to Westbrook or Concord to take, and it's a secured area where you go and take your written test. And
Okay,
then,
so is there a practical as well?
yes, yeah,
So
Yeah,
is
and
the
they
practical, does the practical happen before the written?
it doesn't matter, you can do one or
Depends,
the
sometimes
other.
they flip-flop, it depends what's available.
Yeah.
The scheduling.
And those are a separate fee for those,
Mhm.
for each one of those?
Yeah.
I understand. Why would you have a test without, does somebody do the class and just not take the test? That doesn't make sense.
No, but what they do is they take the test and then, they'll say, well, these are your testing sites, you have to go there, so you have to pay the testing site to take your test.
So so the written I can see that,
Yeah.
like I forget what they're called, Sylvan Learning Center type of
That's where you
thing.
go.
Yeah.
So there's a fee for them
Yeah.
that they're not covering.
Yeah. And then there's a fee for
what's
the practical
what's
exam.
what's that exam? Is
What's
that
the
for
price
both?
of that?
Is that for both firefighter 1 and 2 and EMT?
No, fire 1 and 2,
The testing's included.
that testing's all included.
So this is only EMT, is
Yes.
I've got a written test, and then the practical there's a fee for as well.
Yes.
But they're not doing that at like Sylvan, so where's
No, they usually do it.
who's getting that fee?
It's either at the testing site, I'm not the testing site, but the school
Where they
site,
took their class.
where they took their class, or they punch in with a bunch of other people and they do it. So they pay for the instructors and that.
And then roughly how much are those tests?
For EMT, I'm not sure. I know for the A, which I believe that they'd probably be about the same. I can get I just do this. So for the practical exam for an A, and I believe it'd be the same for a basic, was $325. And that that practical exam, also in that $325 was a fee for the night before where they go in and go over all the equipment that will be at the practical and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the written exam is $115.
15, okay. That's for A, okay. And we're assuming EMT is about the same?
Yeah.
Okay. And now then is there a licensing fee?
Some people had given me a licensing fee. I've never seen one.
Well, how do they get their card? Don't they have certified?
You pass the exam, I think
Yeah.
it's included in the testing fee if you're written. You
In
pass,
this one.
you
And I
get.
don't know if the one, because I only had one, and I don't think it was included in this testing fee.
And then what are we paying, the town paying for? Currently, what are we paying for?
We'll pay
So a pumps class is 150.
150,
You
so we'll
guys-
pay
you're
that
paying-
right off.
You're paying that full.
anything $300 and below, the town will pay for.
Okay.
Anything $301 and up, they're required to pay the $300 or half. Like fire 1 and 2, $650, so they pay 3 1/4, and we'll pay 3 1/4.
So if it's above 300, they pay 50%.
Yeah.
And then we reimburse
We reimburse once they pass.
once they pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing you have to remember, this doesn't happen with everybody. A lot of people come to us looking for work that are already certified, they already have all this stuff. So this, I would say 25-30% of people, a young person coming knocking on the door, hey, I want to be a firefighter. This is where you're going to pay this out. Most of the people coming have history, they have experience, they have certifications, they're just looking for extra work. So it doesn't happen with everybody.
Yeah, we have a bunch of young people. I mean, we've had a ton of training.
Yeah, some of them have gone on, like the basics of becoming A's, because we get 8 A's now,
Right.
which is good. But now I believe.
And if we pay, if it's over 300, then they're signing
they're signing no matter
they're
what.
signing
If
a
it's
12-month.
150,
Okay,
if it's
and they're
$50.
saying basically signing a 12-month.
Yeah.
Although we're not really enforcing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a 1-year commitment. And then there's other trainings on top of that, because
Well, it should be like continuing ed type of stuff. There should be some training that, I mean, you guys do in-house training.
we do in-house training, yes, but
Continuing ed, but.
like with our paramedic, who's also an instructor, we're setting up a pre-hospital trauma, PHTLS it's called, it's pre-hospital trauma course, which is a 2-day course, which we have to get on the medical side, we have to get CEUs to meet our obligation to keep our license. So he's gonna be running that course at a discounted price, and we're also gonna have other departments come in to partake in that.
Yeah, again, my concern has always been trying to balance. I'm a big proponent of training. I mean, training is huge. Quite frankly, the Navy is having a big issue right now because the accidents they've had. I was just listening to a report. Most of them are being attributed now to training because they cut way back on training. They tried to do, here's a bunch of CDs, here, do it yourself online, and it wasn't, that's not how you drive a ship. And so they're finding, but that stuff takes a long time. So I like training, but it's also not my pocketbook that's paying for it, it's the town's pocketbook and as a taxpayer, and so it's how do I get the best I can get with the money, and so that's the balance that I'm always trying to look at, and I also have to remind myself that it's not me. I'm not the business owner that's coming out of my pocket, because that's how I personally feel. Maybe totally different to how it should happen. That's So those are the things that I'm always trying to, because again, advanced EMTA, they have a nice certification, they can then go, that certification is with them, so we're training them all the way up, and then I have no hold on them. And if they get a permanent job versus on shifts, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all, but we're the ones who ended up forking out the money. So how do I?
This is nationwide on this.
Because,
Because people come, they join, they may stay 8-9 months, and then they get hired full time, and it's out of the area, type of thing.
So that's what, I looked at some other towns, some other big towns. They don't pay for EMTAs. They'll pay for EMTs and firefighter 1, but they don't pay for A's. Or do we? Because I also like skin in the game. It's very, very easy. Oh, I'll take the training. Town's gonna pay for it. Sure, I'll do it. I'll take it all day long. If the town's paying for it, versus do they really want it? Do they really? There's something about if they have some. I don't know if you know what I mean by skin in the game, but they gotta put some of their own money up in the game if they're gonna.
And that's why when we started this, we said that it wasn't going to be 100% paid by the town. That they had to put something into it.
Yeah, but then they get reimbursed, and so they really don't have any. It's they can borrow from mom or dad or somebody else if they don't have it, just to get it until they pass. Obviously they need to make sure that they pass so that they can pay themselves or somebody else back. But it's so that's what I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I think it was Scarborough or Cape Elizabeth, whatever. They don't pay for EMTAs. Why? They're a big town.
Yeah, and some towns pay 100% and they hope for the best. Some towns will reimburse you if you pass. You get to pay everything up front.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you pass, but it's hard for a lot of people to come up with $1,000.
Yeah, no, I know that. And that's what I mean. Is that's part of why I want to have this discussion. Is I don't necessarily know what the right answer is. I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't.
Now, one of the things that we were looking at in going through the contract is maybe spelling out what courses the town will support. And stuff like that. Of course, Fire 1 and 2, your EMT, your EVOC, your pumping, some specialty classes, because, extrication classes for car accidents. But maybe we should, on some classes, say, have a list, and as long as it's on that list, this is what we'll support.
Yeah, because the other side is that either at the paramedic level or at the EMTA level, there are full-time jobs out there, and so, and our department doesn't support that full-time position, and so it's very likely that if they want to go that route, unless it's just their second job, but if they want to go that route, they might be able to. So they ought to be able to. My thinking is they ought to be paying for some of that training. If they're serious about it, I don't think they're going to have an issue. They're trying to advance their career, but that's not an EMT or a firefighter 1 and 2 is not. That's just kind of basic stuff. So that's not.
There are some jobs out there that if you're Fire 1 and 2 in your basic, you get put on top of the list.
Yeah, you can get those too. But where do you draw those? It's the advanced. It's the advanced level, and if you want to advance your career. If I'm an individual and I want to advance my career, and maybe I need to get training, well, I end up having to pay that out of my pocket to get that training if I want to really advance my career.
Well, maybe like you talked about before, maybe for advanced, if anybody wanted to go to paramedic, it's a 2-year commitment, and they only get half.
Well, that was the other side is that I saw, and I forget what department did it as. There's a thing it's similar to what they call deferred compensation. Mm-hmm. So they defer the reimbursement, and so you can actually structure it as a loan.
Right.
And I'm sure we can figure out some way to do it that. Mm-hmm. So we structure it as a loan. So $1,000 we structure it, and then we're going to pay that $1,000 off, and essentially we give them the money back. But that's how it gets paid off over a 3-year period of time, or a 4-year, or a 2-year, or whatever. And so if they don't, because we pay for since we pay for it up front, there's a balance remaining. If they leave early, they're contractually obligated for that balance. Happened with me. I left my company and I had one of those, and I left a week before it was due, and I had to pay an entire year's worth of balance left because whether I liked it or not.
Right.
And it was a contract, and there's nothing I could have. And I tried to fight it, and I couldn't. So that's
something that we can look at for those higher.
Right.
Those higher things.
And that's certainly and that then alleviates we're not paying for somebody and then a year later or 6 months later they're out the door. Especially for the higher ones that are a little bit more more involved. I mean I think we have to cover the other ones as far as firefighter 1 and 2 and EMT basic. If we need to support the department, I think we have to
Right. Yeah. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Thoughts, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, at work, we took a course, we paid for it. When we got our marks, they reimbursed us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and continuing it, I'm all for it. Again, you need it. It's just that kind of stuff. I mean, only continuing it isn't that expensive. Do you have refresher courses and have that kind of stuff isn't a huge expense.
Yeah.
So
we can look at that.
What would be for advanced courses? What would be what kind of a term?
I don't know. What do you think is fair?
What do they pay? $1,500. It's what, a 5-6 month course. They've committed a lot of time. Their own personal time. They're making a commitment to the town. We're paying half up front, and when they complete it, we're paying the other half. So maybe we.
Well, I'd say even on this case, we pay the whole thing up front, but it's on a loan and it's forgivable. So they don't have to come out with any money out of the pocket, but it's a forgivable loan over a period of time. If we're going to do it that, why make them pay anything up front? Mm-hmm. We pay for their $1,500 and we'll forgive it over a 3-year period of time, $500 a year type of thing. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that.
You
out
want to do? I know paramedics is what, 2 years.
That's full time though. That's a big commitment, and it comes down to what does the town, what level of service does the town want? What do we want to provide? Right now we have 2 paramedics on the as members, and we have a lot of advanced. Some days we're at the paramedic level, some days we're not. I mean, what does the town want to commit to? We want to send our basics through advanced school. I can't see us spending the money to send advanced to paramedic. That's big. It's big money.
It's a lot of money.
But I think if you could recruit and retain what we have, or recruit and retain the paramedics to bring it up to a full-time level, I think it's the cost of doing business. The town needs to invest in these people. That's the level of service that we want to provide.
But obviously, if you have a paramedic on shift every day, there's more money to that. But is that what we're trying to? Isn't that where essentially what we're trying to
do? Is to get a full-time paramedic.
I mean, isn't that because that's what we end up paying for intercepts is when we don't have it. I mean, obviously there'll be a bunch of times where it's not needed.
Yeah.
But we don't. Is that something that we're looking that we can get within? Again, is it more cost effective to try to find one versus training one that's going to take another 2 years before they're even trained?
Finding.
Trained up. And investing in because again we have 2, but it's when they're available. It's not even necessarily when we want them on. It's
it's when they can fit.
We're probably doing Friday and Saturday nights. I mean, right? I mean, I'm just granted accidents happen anytime, but
So we can. I mean, if you want to make the advanced a 2-year payable over 2 or 3 years, I mean, I think that's pretty doable.
I mean, what do you guys think?
And advanced, how much is that one? Is that 1,500?
Yeah.
Well, the A itself is the training part of that is
Yeah,
what?
the A is, this one here was $1,200, and then
Was that 100% or was that 50%?
that was $1,200 with 100%.
Okay. And then you have another 115 for the written and another 325 for the practical. So you're looking at 1,700.
Mhm.
You know. I mean, the only problem with doing it up front is that is if they don't pass, then what do you do?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they have 3 chances, and I have to redo the course after that. So maybe it's written into that, you know.
They can take the test 3 times. Now, we'd have to check to see if they have to pay each time. I'm not sure if they have to pay each time.
To take the written, they have to pay each time, I believe. They have 3 chances, and if they don't make it, they gotta take the whole course over again.
So I mean, I suppose in the contract you could say that if they don't pass, any additional testing is out of their pocket.
Yeah.
And if they don't pass, then I'm just trying to think of something where it's similar now. Because right now they would pay 50% out of their pocket, and that's what they would lose if they don't pass.
If they don't pass, yeah.
So maybe they should keep it at something like that, just in case.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is so any additional testing is out of their pocket, and if they don't pass, then they're responsible for, you know, then they have to pay back the town half the cost. You know, that's in the contract. So the town will be, you know,
Recoup some of the money.
we're gonna get some of it back, right? If they don't pass, which obviously is what we want.
Yeah.
But that way they don't have to, it's not like they have to pay the whole thing back, so then that really, you know, I mean, I suppose we could do that, right? We can pay the whole thing back if they don't pass. So they better be pretty serious, otherwise they're gonna pay this whole thing out of the pocket.
Well, that's the other thing, you know, if you're
I mean,
making
that's
them
what-
responsible
I mean,
for it, they might have a little
Might as
bit.
well, they may have to pay the whole thing back within a year. I mean, maybe that's what we do. I'll give them time. You know, but then they have to pay the whole thing back within a year. Puts the pressure on them if they wanna, you know,
If they really want to do it, yeah.
I mean, you know, if they're marginal, then they may not, but we may not want them to do it anyways, if they're only marginal. I mean, again, I'm only looking to pay for somebody if they're committed to doing it, so, right, I mean, I
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I don't want somebody to take it just to take out
Right.
money because they want to.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Absolutely.
so if they think, I may not even pass this thing, I'm not sure I want it, you know, then
Yeah.
that's fine. Well, then,
Yeah,
you know.
and I think with that hanging over their head, that, you know, they'd make that decision, yeah, I really don't want that, or I'm committed to do this.
Well, again, it's we're being nice because we're gonna pay the whole thing up front, so you don't have to do any money out of pocket.
Yeah.
You wanna do it 3 years or 2 years? For an A?
And an A is the 1,700.
Yeah. The A is the more advanced. Paramedic we won't worry about right now. I don't think.
I'd say 3, I mean.
3?
Yeah.
Alright. And again, I mean, if it's, let's just use easy numbers, 1,500, we know it's a little bit more, but
Yeah.
then they wanna get out after 2 years, they're gonna have to pay back $500. That's their choice. If they're going to a full-time position, they're gonna do that easy. That's not really a big number. But that way, at least we're getting something for the money that we're
Oh, I
putting.
agree.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree with that,
I think that's fair, and I think that's, you know.
Yeah. And I agree with that if you don't pass it the first time, they should be paying for their
Subsequent.
testing, because, I mean, that would just add more to that bunkering down. and-
Yep. Okay. As far as the other basic courses, I mean, if we can put something down as far as the typical courses that we do, you could also put down something, you know, other courses, you know, at the chief's discretion or at chief's and selectmen's discretion or whatever.
Yeah.
Or we can certainly put down a list of courses that you know the town pays for.
Yeah. All the basic courses that they would need, and I mean, like the PHLS class and the PALS class are 2 medical ones, and they get a bunch of, besides really, really good training, they get the credits to help them keep their
Recertified.
license.
Yep.
What about, you have somebody come in off the street and you're gonna send them to firefighter 1 and 2, do we want a commitment to the town?
Yeah, we do.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
12-month.
That's a 12-month.
That's a 12-month in that original one that will,
Right.
you know, but I wouldn't mind, we probably ought to revise that to make it more of a contract so that we can actually enforce it. And I may just run that through legal and we can do both through legal. I mean, that one basically, you know, is a 1-year thing, but that way, I like to make sure that it's an enforceable contract, so that if they leave, they realize that this is not.
Yeah, so all the other courses will fall into this and we'll come up with one for an A.
Right. So,
No, that's
does
good.
that make sense?
Yeah.
I think so.
You know, the other thing is I'd like you guys to think about, and we don't have to do it now, but I'd like to maybe have it ready for December for budgeting is, and we had talked about this, a seniority scheme. Because again, so seniority scheme meaning that everybody right now is paid the same rate. All EMTs, whether they've been with us for 1 year, whether they've been with us for 10 years, it's always the same rate. So I'd like to reward those that are willing to stay with the town for longer.
Well, and like I had mentioned that we were also working on is if you get your fire 1 and 2 and your EMT, you should make a little bit more than somebody who just has their EMT. Do you have that extra training?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking at, I mean, and again, we're just gonna have to, it may be kind of convoluted, but I'd like to have some sort of a grid, so, and if you can see these grids, you know, if you're here and here, you get this, and if you're here and here, you get this, and you here, you know, so you can figure it out rather than, you know, and have it all kind of laid out, but we need to have those numbers, we need to go through those numbers, and so that when we do our budgeting for next year, we can incorporate that into those numbers. You know, so I'd like you guys to kind of think about, and again, I have no problem, firefighter 1, and again, we gotta reward them for doing that. And it may not be, that part, the 1 and 2 on an EMT may not be huge, but firefighter 1 and 2 on an EMTA, that might be a bigger jump, or, you know, or a paramedic and a firefighter 1 and 2, you know, is again, they're gonna get added.
So will that be like per hour per diem shifts, or is that gonna be, I come in at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm not working a per diem shift, you're gonna get a little bump up in your pay if you don't do per diem shifts?
You know, I don't know.
That's something we can look at.
Again, money talks. If you're not getting people showing up at the scene, or you're just getting drivers showing up at the scene that can't do squat, then you know, do we need to?
We're getting away from that.
We're getting away from just driving.
But I'm just saying, do we need to add?
But we could look at is if you're showing up on scene. I mean, at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you could be doing either role. That we should have a rate for. I mean, it's $10 for everybody that comes in. But if you're a firefighter EMT that come in, we can bump it up. If you're an A that comes in, we can bump it up a little bit.
So we should be looking at all the pay scales.
Yeah.
You know, per diem, firefighter 1 and 2, EMT, advanced, paramedic. You know,
Both
per
on
diem
and off shift.
and off. You know.
No, and again, even training, asking a paramedic to come in here for $10 an hour versus a driver to come in here for $10 an hour is different. The paramedic's time is worth more. They should get more.
I came in that night and taught a class. I taught a 2.5 hour class.
So
but this is where we.
I'm looking to be fair, but again, they have to be. You know, and again, we're not. It's not like we're a rich town where we can pay off. You know, but it's
that's the benefits. How you retain people, and quality people, and productive people.
Right. So, all right, but we need to get kind of working on that because that may take several iterations to get it down to something. But that way we have that ready for I say December because I don't know, but that's if we have it done by the
we don't want to wait till the last minute. We've already been kind of working on it.
Right. So, you
Yeah,
guys okay with that?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
okay with that? Any other questions on training?
Zoll's 4 to 7 weeks.
Okay.
They're saying 4, but
Alright.
so
Thank you for your support on that.
yes.
2 pieces of equipment that we were in desperate need of.
Monday we're going over the welfare check things. Did you hear back from the lawyer on that welfare check?
Remember,
If there was any legal, if
Well, checking out on elderly or.
Oh, no.
No. So, what we're doing is we're having an officers meeting and, a couple of the officers are from the old school, so they know how it ran. So we're gonna sit down and kind of come up with something, especially for storms and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, talk to, oops, Jenny's in there, I lost her.
Been here the whole
When
time.
is Verge Atkins coming in?
They came in.
They already came in.
Yeah, they came in last
She's not coming in again?
Eventually, we're going to try and do some sort of workshop or.
Because they're the visiting nurse.
Yeah.
So we have a fund that pays for some of that, and so if there's some way to coordinate, whether it be a senior lunch type of thing, and then when they come in, they can get a check by the visiting nurse, and so that visiting nurse part is paid for by this Verge Atkins fund. That somehow. That's, again, something that we can do, versus them.
Because we're looking at, especially for storms, because we've already been asked about the hurricanes coming up. So, and we've talked to some elderly people and stuff like that. So we're gonna come up with a form that they can fill out. We may do the rave thing where they get a phone call once a day or something. As long as they get one, they're good, stuff like that. It's being used in some other communities. And then when it's really bad, we can make a personal phone call and stuff like that, just to make sure they're good.
Yeah, I mean, a big thing is at least in my mind, we need to have a list.
Mhm.
As in, my guess is nobody knows the seniors that need,
Probably
as far
not.
as who they are, what their phone number is, if they even have a phone.
And maybe neighbors.
Yeah.
We could put it out there, and maybe
So, I mean,
neighbors
do we
could
need
call
to-
and say, hey.
Is there a phone number they should call? We can put out an announcement through email on the website. If a senior, I'm just saying we need to get the wording right, but if somebody wants a wellness check, so again, it could be disabled, not just a senior, but it could be disabled.
Yeah.
We'd like to have a list of those people that would we're working on that, and would like a list, and would like to, so where do they call? Do they call the fire station? Okay.
And
So
they can
think
call.
about-
We're making up a form too,
Yeah.
so we know that if the rave system does go out and it sends out its phone calls and there's no pickup, do you want us to drive out there, do you want us to just disregard it, and stuff like that, so. And it's something that we're learning through EMA, so.
So yeah, and I mean, if you had that form, and again, if they call, then you guys can just
Yeah.
fill out that form, put that
Yeah.
person's name, at least we can
Maybe
start.
I can give you some, once we figure out the form, I can give you some forms, and then we can understand,
And if we had
I know last year we got some phone calls to do some checks, and then we also went and did, an elderly guy couldn't get out, so we had to chip away ice and stuff like that.
But we need that list, we need to start creating that list so we know who the vulnerable are that are out there that we need to pay attention to, and I mean.
Yeah, so that's one thing we're gonna be working on.
So think of a word, I mean, we can even just, again, when you're ready for phone calls, to accept phone calls, then think of some wording that we can put on the website and send out a blast email.
Right.
We can put something, we've got a sign out there in the corner, we can even put something on the sign.
Like I said, once we come up with a form, so.
Yeah, and then we can have like a collaborative list. And then we're gonna do like an information night for the Verge Atkins, because they were gonna come in at some point. We're hoping to set up a meeting to do that here, so if we can get some sort of list together so that we can, and if you guys want to come in and explain your side of it too, then we can have everybody here and we can try and get it on the video too.
Would that be seniors and stuff that we did
Seniors.
want there as well?
Yes.
At that meeting,
Yes.
so we probably wouldn't do it here then. I'm just trying to think but we might do it up at the school or at the library where more people are. I mean, the school may be
It
too
can fit
big,
more people.
the school may be too big, but the
The
library
library would be,
might be better, you know what I'm saying, as
Marcy's good
far
about
as.
that.
So it's something to work on, and,
Yeah.
it's better than what we got now, so.
Right.
Absolutely. Cause if some people are out of state and their mom and dad live here and they might
Well, we
be
get those phone calls
concerned,
too, yeah.
so,
Yeah, we just can say, don't answer the phone. Okay, well,
yeah.
have a nice day.
Awesome.
So, alright?
Okay.
Hey, good. And I'll write this up.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
We got these and I read them. I thought it was.
One of those.
When you hire someone or whatever, do they have to sign off on the stuff that they read it? I'm not saying
The
they have
SOPs, yes, it's supposed to go through and sign the SOP book.
and this one too?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
So,
And trunk or treat is October 28th from 6 to 8.
The personnel one, I'm gonna get to Ann to make sure it coincides
Yep.
with.
hold off, cause I'm gonna update a little bit in that first.
Okay.
Unless you wanna send it to her and if she says okay, then.
Well, the other question is there may not be a need to have two, because
Oh, yeah.
we already have a personnel policy for the town, for
But
all,
this
for all
basically
employees.
spells out how the shifts run and stuff like that, which the personnel policy.
But that might be just a separate, you take that part out.
Right.
So that way you don't have potentially competing, you only have, and again, you can just take our personnel policy and put it into your book. But that's, cause that covers all the personnel stuff, which is for all employees, which is, cause otherwise you kinda get, you could have two different rules. That's what I'm, but anything that you want that's not in ours, then you could make an administrative policy or whatever you wanna call it, just not personnel
So just name it
policy.
something different then.
Right.
Yeah.
Or shift policy, whatever, or an addendum, you can even do an addendum to the.
Well, we could also just add it to the personnel policy at the end.
Well, that's what I'm saying, just
Yeah.
addendum, so it's just the addendum for the fire, so it's what's specific to you guys is something that's more specific.
Yeah.
That way we're not, and that also relieves, so I mean, look at ours, look at that.
Yeah.
See that may be a better way to do it, because then we know ours has already gone through legal.
Yeah, we could take out our discipline policy because it's already in there, we kind of.
That's right, so therefore don't even bother with that, you just use this, because this has already gone through legal, and then just take whatever's really not covered by ours, and then carve that out of yours. And whatever you want to add, or whatever for shifts and stuff, you can do that in addendum to the town's personnel policy. So I think that's cleaner
No, I like that.
than having two
Very
different
good.
ones out there.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's slimlined.
Alright,
Yeah.
good.
Good, alright.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alright. No, I'm not ready yet.
Jeez.
Alright, where are we at? I should have done it with Chief here, but there was no incidents on 4x4 proving grounds that were outside or Tiki Fest.
Oh,
Or
awesome.
there was a big wedding in town too, same Saturday as well.
Yeah.
So we had a big influx of people, and
Good.
I think there was a couple of medical calls at the 4x4 proving grounds. A show, I don't know what it was, but it was.
Okay.
But again, we had people already on scene
Yeah.
there, so it was not. So that was already covered. So there was nothing external, nothing related to any of those events. I did hear that the Maine State Police had a physical presence over at trains. Parked cars just kind of hanging out. So that may
I
have,
saw them somewhere.
So that
too.
may have-
I think it was,
they
I think
were out and about. So I
I
think
think
that
he was
may have.
beside the road right
It
there,
may
as a
have,
matter
right,
of fact.
right.
'cause
So
I
they
saw
may
it.
have, so that may have helped.
Mhm.
Which is I even mentioned that in the meeting, is there a presence? I mean, have you guys?
Mhm.
Because normally just being there tends to quiet people down, and it
Right.
seems to have worked. And this was their biggest event. So, again,
Right, yep, Mhm.
you have that, there's no real,
Yeah.
so it's, a lot of it is, do idiots decide to go out and do stuff or not? I mean, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure police's a presence, that was fine.
Yeah.
So, if worst case, we'll go buy a salvaged Maine State Police car and put a dummy in it and just park it over there, and we'll be good. So, it works in other areas. They throw a police car in the middle of the highway and everybody slows down. Nobody's in it, but everybody slows down. So, assessing commitment. Did you understand all that stuff? I just wanted to get you caught up because we all met yesterday, and
yes.
so
I-
again, 1524 is what it was at on
Okay.
Thursday. That's why it's all dated on the 31st, because nothing had to change because of a few of the exemptions that we had to put back on. He was here for a while, long
4
winded.
hours.
Yep. So,
Very nice.
but we got all the paperwork done, all the stuff. Jenny knows how, and we're gonna print the commitment book, I think, tomorrow.
Mhm.
And we'll get the files ready to go over to the printer.
Mhm.
I think he's got the stamps he's gonna get a check in the mail to them for postage tomorrow. So, I think we're all set with that.
Okay, yep.
So, so things are looking good. So, but he had talked about, again, trying to get a lot of stuff electronically, and part of it is tree growth. And a lot of this is the more that we can get electronically, the more we can get
I
rid
haven't
of.
signed it yet, and I want a copy of this.
The more we can get rid of the files.
Yeah,
Because a lot of the files are, and actually that saves us space.
yeah,
And so, and he talked about the more we can get electronically, we get rid of all the foot traffic that's coming in for that stuff, because they can get it online.
absolutely.
And so all the real estate people that come here to try to do the research
Yeah.
for this, they can all go online and get it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're going. So in that, I wanted to get her a scanner, because right now the only place to scan is the big scanner. And it's not one that you just do this, you gotta lift. It's just, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Rather than having a scanner right on your desk, you can scan it
Yeah.
through, it goes right to your hard drive.
Yeah.
It's, it's a local scanner.
we just got one of those, so yeah,
Yeah.
I
Do
hear
you
you.
know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
If she's gonna be doing a lot of scanning, and he wants her
Yeah.
to scan a lot of stuff, all
Yeah.
the tree growth stuff, everything into the system,
Absolutely,
having her going back and forth, I
Yeah.
mean,
I agree.
there won't be anything left of her if she has to do that, so. So, you know me, I did my little research and blah, 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 and so actually the price has come down since I first put it on there. It's an Epsom scanner, it's got good, and this may be the same scanner. We may end up having to get another scanner for Rebecca for that, is that inland fisheries and wildlife stuff that she has next to her? I kinda like that flat one.
No, that's for CVR.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about,
Yes, totally.
they're doing away with that.
Yes,
And
they
they're
are.
getting a brand new system,
That's right.
so we're gonna have to, so this is the same scanner that I'm looking to get for there, because it fits what she needs, it has to have certain specs, and this does fit those
Yeah,
specs.
we did that too,
So,
we went over to it.
so this may be
Yeah.
the same one that we use for her, so, it just makes sense to have the same ones, it just,
Right.
things are easier.
Yeah.
So, and this is $269.99 is what this, it normally goes for like $350. So it's actually a pretty good deal on Amazon, so, I'd like to get that for her.
Yeah.
We have it in the technology budget, so
Okay,
I guess I make a motion to go ahead and buy this scanner for $269.99.
okay.
And we'll do it at Amazon, and Jordan can put it on the card.
Yep.
So, all those in favor? Done. Give that to you. Make sure Jordan gets that. He'll know. Assess and commit. Softball game. Are you here for the softball game?
I had some other stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
Huh? You got players for us? Because we're running short.
Actually, showing a lead, but I'm not scared.
okay.
All right. So, yeah, just that we need players. So,
I'll get someone else.
I was just wondering, like, who's playing the softballs, and are we having an umpire, and
What they do, lots of times they just use a mat thing with and if it lands on that, it's a strike. So, no, I don't have an umpire, but, honestly, I don't think we really need one. If we have someone that we can get, that, I guess that would be good.
so we can volunteer as an umpire, right? I mean,
We need
how about, Steve Ensley, was it, umpire?
he was an umpire. I don't know.
Contact him. Roxanne Bumpet, I think she was too, wasn't she?
Yep, I'll see.
Just an idea.
But we have softballs, I believe.
Do you have
Woody's
softballs?
gonna get the field ready, yeah. We have softballs.
I got one softball that I picked up from mowing the other field, so I got one.
Yeah, no,
I got a bucket of baseballs, maybe a handful of softballs.
Yeah. but yeah, we'll, we have those. We have the softballs.
All right.
No crying.
No, not at all. Were we gonna do any kind of food or anything,
Yeah, I'll work on that.
or do we want to ask somebody if they want to do food? Isn't that easier for us to?
That would be easier for us. We're gonna announce, so we're gonna play on the baseball field, but it's still, we play softball there too, so that we can announce and stuff.
Is there any?
But I mean, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, I mean, who would,
Maybe, Nancy usually helps you with the cooking and stuff?
She does, yeah, I haven't asked her, I assume she'll be there.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure, 'cause Mitchell will be there, so.
Yeah, Mitchell. Doesn't he have school or something?
Yeah, he left Wednesday, so.
I'll ask Nancy if she
But
wants
do you
to.
guys have, like, last time we played, you guys had leftover stuff?
We do. We're having a tournament to the end of, but we do have leftover stuff, so I'll ask her if she wants to do that.
But if you guys need
Yeah.
us to buy something, we'll.
well, that's why I don't know, I mean.
Yeah, well,
Are we gonna do it ourselves
I'll-
and raise the money, or do we
Yeah.
bring in, like, to ask the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or somebody else to come in and do it?
Well, it depends what they're gonna do. I mean, it's at 1, so I'll ask Nancy, cause
Right.
we do have stuff and see what she wants to do, or if she wants to do anything, but we'll have something.
Okay. Do we need to buy anything?
Not yet, no, I don't think so.
Let me know.
Yeah,
I just, okay. So you got this, I mean, if you need help, let me know, I just
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what
We got it.
you're the organizer, so just delegate
yeah,
out to me and I'll be going.
yeah, no, it's good. We'll be
I
good.
just-
And we were charging $10 a player, and I don't care about, and we can, yeah, I mean, you might wanna set a limit, but I'm not gonna, we don't have to say you gotta pay up front for home runs or anything, I mean, it's whatever we wanna do. And we could do a 50-50 too, we could do that and, half of it goes to them, the other half goes to the person that
Right.
wins it or whatever, we could do that too. I had thought of that, so, but maybe we could put a limit on home
I
runs.
should have asked Chief when he was here about,
Yeah, we could do a limit, I don't know, are you gonna hit home runs all the time?
I doubt it.
Okay. But we could do that, we could, Woody's gonna be there, he's gonna play, I said, then we need to play this, and he goes, oh, okay, let me know, I'll see if I can find some.
Couple of our players might need designated runners.
Yeah. Paul might
Paul,
need help.
Oh, he's gonna run for us?
No.
Yeah,
He might need to run
What?
we're
for the
volunteering
softball
for you.
game.
You better spot us 10 then.
If they tell me I can go, I'll go.
Yes, well, he's having a little eye thing tomorrow, right? Yeah. Well, you don't have to see, it's okay. Okay, so yes, we're all
Run
set
straight,
with that.
Paul, run straight, keep going, okay, stop.
But you have enough softballs and stuff.
Yes, we do, well, yeah, we got softballs, yeah.
We got bats too, yep.
I don't know about the bats, I'll ask Woody about the bats. Do you have bats?
I'm gonna buy some, I guess.
No, you don't have to buy them.
I can't even find my gloves and stuff, so.
Oh, well.
I gotta find my glove too.
Let me ask Woody about the bats,
It's
cause
in the attic, yep,
he,
somewhere.
yeah, we'll
I
look
think
at
mine are in storage, so.
Yeah, we only need a couple of bats.
Right.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
one, but,
Bats and bat.
yeah, well, yeah, but you want certain kinds.
No, I know. Alright,
Okay, yep, that's good.
okay. I'll hold off, we're having a meeting on Tuesday,
Yes.
this coming week.
Oh, did you have anybody come by and visit?
Yes,
You did?
yeah, we had 3 people.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Three
I think
visitors.
only one serious, but who knows?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good.
Anyway, so Tuesday, so we can talk about the barbecue on Tuesday.
Yes, yeah.
Get past the softball game and talk about the
Yeah.
barbecue. Alright.
I got somebody here too.
Anything else in the softball game? No?
If you need anything, Laura, just call me.
I will.
Yeah, I just, like I said, and I can
Yep.
run, get stuff, or we'll do whatever we
Yeah.
need to. Newsletter,
Jenny?
we're still working on.
Yes, I'm just waiting.
So, we have those 3, I'll try to give you some blurbs for the 3 referendum items
Okay.
that we just decided tonight,
Yeah.
because we wanted to put that on there.
Yep.
We got a blurb, did I email it to you, the one that we got from John O'Donnell?
No.
Okay, could you print that out and put that in their boxes?
Yep, I can.
Just so you can see. I asked him for a blurb about, and he talks about, actually nothing says reevaluation, just basically talks about getting together a system, an assessing system in place. So just they'd be out and about, and so he just put a blurb in there,
Okay.
which I think is good to get that
Yeah.
word out to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, good.
Trying to think of what else. You have something from Dale already, right?
Yes.
So I think we're getting close. I think the referendum's one of the last things.
When are we planning to like get this moving or send it out?
As soon as it's ready, I mean.
I mean, I'd like to, like in another week and a half, 2 weeks at the latest, like
Yeah.
15th of September type of thing. I'd like
Okay.
to really get it.
Okay,
Why?
because we should put when having the public hearing, because we have to have a public hearing on this.
Right.
So
And when
that
does-
should be
when
in
does
there.
that- Right, so when does that date get set?
Well, we can, I mean, I can, it should be, the first week or second week in October, I would recommend, because people can have their ballots by then, so you wanna make sure we talk about.
Is that something we deal with Dale? Is that something that we pick? Is that something she
Well, it's
does?
our public hearing, I mean,
Right.
we just, by law, we have to have one.
Yeah, I mean, do we wanna do that now?
Well, we have to ask the school when we can have it,
Oh,
cause we have to go to the school, and I can do that, that's,
okay,
I can do that. Cause now that they're open all the time, it's better,
okay.
pick a date, so, I'll do that.
Yep.
Okay,
And there's gonna be two things on the state, so,
I think
Right.
there's 3,
oh, was it 3?
I think
I
so.
thought there was only 2, he just did the wording, unless there's another one that I don't. He changed the wording on the 2 of them. There's
The casino,
healthcare, there's
the
healthcare and casino.
healthcare, isn't there something else, maybe there isn't, I don't know.
So,
I don't think we've got a copy of the thing yet, but, okay.
alright, what else do I have? I think that's, do you guys have anything before we open it up to public?
How's the 911 thing going?
So, there, I was on the phone with her, with the trainer for over an hour. And I guess when I had originally entered stuff, I missed a couple things, so it is a little bit more complicated than I had originally thought.
Okay,
We still need some more information from Mike, I plan on talking with him next week when he comes back.
okay,
So there hasn't been too much entry. I've added 2 and she's supposed to look at those and let me know.
okay.
So is there data that you need from him that you don't have, is that?
I think so. I wanna talk with her again. It depends on how much we wanna get in, because it's hard, because you have to, their software doesn't align with with Bing or the MapQuest or anything.
Mhm.
So when I put mine in, it was the road that I had put it on. Their software wasn't updated, so the road was actually a lot longer than what was on their software. So when I put the address, it was in the wrong spot, but I wouldn't know that unless I go to Google Earth first to see how long the road actually is, and then they have to update.
Oh,
Yeah. And that's a lot. There's a lot of new development that's not even on their software, roads and things like that. So it's complicated,
okay,
So once the road,
So if I notice that there's a road not in there, or when I compare it to Google Earth to see how long, I have to let them know. They update that part, which in turn takes a couple days.
mhm,
And then I can go back in and add the address in the right spot. And then that still takes a couple days once they accept it to show back up on my end.
Okay.
So,
okay.
now have you looked at doing ones that are not new roads?
well, the ones that I have that he gave me a list of is all new construction. So yeah, the road's there, or half of the road's there, like I said, but then
Right, but let's say like a new construction
In
on
between.
Merchants, on Merchants Road,
I haven't gotten
which
that
that
far
hasn't
yet.
changed at all, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he also said, she also said, to have the planning board any new subdivisions, that all has to be scanned over to them so they can add it to their
Right, and that
to
wasn't
their software, and
happening.
that was not
Right.
happening,
Mhm.
right?
Wow.
Now, does Jen know that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll mention it to her again. There's gonna be some sort of process in place, with something new, so that I know that they're getting the information, so that when I go back to add it.
Well, how does other towns do it?
That's another thing, I was gonna try and call Alfred or something, another town, and see
Yeah,
what their process was.
Yeah.
Definitely call Joyce. And
yeah,
she's a
call,
perfect.
Yeah.
call somebody because everybody else has to do the same thing, so, anyway. Okay, I just wondered how that was on the list. Sorry.
No, it's fine. What else you have?
Mike's not here, is he?
No, he's on vacation.
Okay.
I guess it was so 2 thoughts on that. We probably should have put out an email that he was gonna be out this week.
Mhm.
I missed it.
Well, it was kind of
Well, that
short
way-
notice too, I mean, it was.
Yeah, I don't remember when he gave it to us, but yeah, I mean,
Wasn't it
that's
last
the.
week?
Yeah.
Was
It was
it last week? Yeah. But at least that would have maybe had people
Yeah,
rather than with know ahead of time
well, and I would,
if they're paying attention.
yeah, and I would think if he has anything in process that he might wanna notify them and, I
Well,
don't
I would think, but.
well, no, but you know what I mean, so people know,
Well,
you
he
know,
wouldn't schedule, I mean,
Yeah.
he should have told, hey, I can't schedule, I'm gonna be out, we'll do it the following week type of thing, so.
just,
But again, another reason for a third party inspector in case when he's out, if somebody needs to have it done, they can get a third party inspector
Yeah,
to do
absolutely.
it, so.
Yeah.
I think somebody was upset, they said, oh, you should have somebody from another town come in, well, if you have somebody from another town, the other town now doesn't have their code enforcement
Yeah.
officer, so I don't think that's gonna happen.
That's
So,
what they've done.
huh?
That's what they've done.
Have they here done that?
Yeah, Ken Paul used to come in and take over.
Where was he from?
Acton.
Well, that's because they weren't busy or just,
He's not all the time.
or do they have
Well, no,
all,
but he would come in for certain times, I mean, he wasn't here every
Oh.
day, he
Oh.
would be like,
because he's not full-time over there, he wasn't full-time over there?
I guess.
Right,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
But that's my question, how many building permits do we have in town? Because Friday, my plumber come to get a plumbing permit.
Mhm.
And most other towns, the town clerk can give you the plumbing permit to fill out and pay just for a plumbing permit.
Mhm.
So he come Friday to do that, she wouldn't take his money because it's so much per fixture. It's not rocket scientist. So then Tuesday I had a inspector come to do the plumbing. So I called Tuesday morning and Mike's on vacation. Paul's somewhere, so there's no plumbing permit for my inspector to do the inspection, so now I gotta wait a week
Mhm.
to get my plumbing inspection, which backs up my insulation guy, which is kinda, I mean, all the building going on in town, you'd think something would have been in place when he's going on vacation. And I talked to my state rep about it, and she's like, when she was a selectman, that's what they did, they hired another building inspector to take over when they were on vacation and stuff.
Yep.
So everybody's not sitting around, we're talking about, remember before, like he was doing inspections on Saturday or whatever?
Yep.
And now here we are, we don't even have somebody to fill out a plumbing permit.
Yep.
Where most other towns, the town clerk can do that. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So nobody even knew that he was on vacation, till I call it Tuesday morning and Jen's like, oh, your application's in the box, well, that doesn't mean no good.
Right.
Because my plumber did the plumbing over the weekend, thinking Tuesday night I was gonna get my inspection done.
Yep.
So I have to call him, so now it's another week.
And he wasn't here Friday when you were here?
No, the guy come here first thing in the morning, he was on vacation, so I says, well,
Was he on vacation? I think he took a long, did he take the long?
I don't
Was he on
know.
vacation on that Friday?
I believe you.
he didn't work. So it's like, don't he work Monday through Friday?
Yeah, Friday's a flex day though, depending on what he does during the week. So Friday might be a short day.
I have the same problem.
Okay.
I came in Monday or Tuesday of last week. I brought in all my paperwork and the plans and everything. And he said by Friday at the latest, he'd have my permit for the building this coming week.
Yeah.
Nothing, come to find out, he's promised me.
Mhm.
For last Friday. I've been all week trying to get it, nothing.
Were you in last Friday or?
No, I was in before last Friday. I was in like Monday or Tuesday. He says, I can't make it out today, but I'll have it at the latest, at the end of the week, I'll have it made out, and they'll call you out front. And you come in and pay. And I come in, I talk to them, they said, oh, we don't call you. He has to call you. But he never made it out either.
Right.
So, I mean, what?
I mean, that was the whole thing, you know, why he wanted to raise and stuff, because all the hours he was working Saturdays, doing inspections on his own time and everything.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Alright, I mean, we didn't get much notice, but I mean, we could have done a better job on our end, but yeah, so thank you for the feedback. We will definitely look into it.
That's what my concern was tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Around and around I go.
So,
Several months now I've been working on it.
And right now it hasn't been done, so, right, okay.
So what are all the other builders in town doing, sitting on their thumb waiting for him to show up, or? You know what I mean, all the building that's going on, and there's nobody doing check stuff.
Well, that's our controlling growth. So.
Well, tell that the guy that's feeding his kids,
No,
you know?
I hear you. So, no, we'll address it with them.
Now, another subject is, like, Acton's going through it, and I think you guys talked about it, about the law about him being a main resident.
Yeah, Acton's not really going through it anymore. It's not there's two legal opinions out there.
Right.
A legal opinion is basically what a law firm says. It's only worth whatever it's worth until it goes to court. Nobody from the state's willing to say anything. Nobody from the state is willing to put in paper yes or no. They're more or less saying it's okay, but they're not really, there's nothing definitive, and so until it gets really challenged in court by somebody, it's gonna be allowed. For both fire chief and a code enforcement, those are the two questions out there. It's how you read it, it's, again, our law firm actually is one of the law firms that believes they can be from out of state. But there's another law firm that was told that Acton saw that says not. So, unfortunately, again, that's just a legal opinion. Until they get to court and a judge decides, that kind of sets the tone. Yeah, it can be challenged, but until that happens, and it never has been. And actually, like our law firm, Bernstein Shore, would love to see that happen, because it is a question out there that really is unsettled.
Right.
And they'd love it to go to court so that it could be then resolved, but it really isn't. So, I think it was another town, was it you guys or somebody else down, got rid of a code enforcement, because some other town got rid of them just because they were from, especially the border towns, and that happens.
Right.
Because their law firm, I think, advised them, no, you can't have them. So they, so eventually it'll get challenged, but right now it is as it is. So.
And I had a few months ago, when I started this whole process, I brought him in paperwork. He knew I didn't have the setbacks, and he said, I have to deny it. I said, okay, it has to go in front of the planning board. And then I waited a month. And I called up to see what was happening. And it turns out he tells Jen that I never filled anything out. But I brought it to him, he signed it and says, now it's going to the field board. It never left his office.
Well,
Never left his office to get to the appeals board.
And
then he said, you never filled one out.
Right, the process is actually an application that you're supposed to fill out.
Yes, I did.
So, but if he didn't tell you, then how do you know?
Well, I had everything out.
You have the appeals application all filled out?
No.
So that's the thing, there's a whole thing to go in front of the appeals board, there's a whole application and that you're supposed to fill out.
She also, when she's mailed out to the abutters, she mailed out all to one mailbox. So when I went in front of the appeals board, they couldn't hear me. Because
no, I didn't go to one mailbox, it went to the wrong one, because I was there on that one.
Well, I remember that I was told that it all went to one address.
Yeah, no, it didn't go to one address. It went to, they didn't have the right people, so, because the property had sold, so it went to the wrong person. So no, it didn't just go all to one address.
Alright,
Yeah, so.
I just, don't know that, they want me to fill it out all over again, so he can make another denial. Yeah, it's already done that, now you signed it right in front of me.
Alright. Alrighty. No, we'll take it up with Mike.
Alright.
So. Like I said, we could have done a better job here ourselves trying to get some coverage or whatever, but
Well, my thing is, why have, nothing against Jen, why have Jen answering the phone and just saying Mike's on vacation? You got how many people working in the town hall that could pick up the phone and somebody calls and says he's on vacation? So you're paying somebody just to sit in his office, just to, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Just to say,
Yep, nope, you got a point.
just to say, Mike's on vacation, he'll be back next week or whatever.
Right. Good point. So.
Just poor planning, that's all.
Yep.
I guess I picked the wrong week.
I picked the wrong year.
Sometimes I think I picked the wrong town, so.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No.
I hate different.
Anything else?
I do, my driveway needs a culvert.
Your driveway needs a culvert?
Yeah.
Okay.
Larry looked at it and said it didn't need one, but all the water from the cul-de-sac is running down into the ditch where Bill Morrison's house is.
Mhm.
So it runs into the ditch, then it runs right down my driveway.
Mhm.
So if I see Tommy to get a culvert, I'll put it in because I have an excavator that I'm renting.
Okay.
Because usually the town supplies the culvert. Larry went out when he was road commissioner and said he didn't need one, but apparently he does, cause
Yeah.
I just keep putting gravel in the driveway and it just keeps washing away.
Talk to Tommy. Yeah, I don't know what I honestly don't know what the policy is with culverts.
Yeah.
So we put culverts across driveways. Is that the town?
Because we originally.
Because we own 25 feet or whatever from the center line. Is that why? So those are ours.
Yeah.
Okay. I know he just ordered. I think he just ordered. I'm assuming he has a bunch. I don't know whether.
Do you have his phone number or something? Can you write it down and give it to me or
Yeah.
text it to me or whatever?
I'll give it to you. I'll find it. Four 3216.
No, come on, get prepared, Chris.
Oh, okay, wait a minute.
I don't, why is it we never have any paper here?
You're looking for just paper.
Come to write on a blue piece of paper for you?
Oh, what is it?
A sticky note, yes, bring it in, thank you.
432.
Well, that's why.
3216.
Full, you got it, Chris?
Yeah.
All right.
432.
Yeah. Thank you, Jordan.
3216.
Jeez, I'm crying.
Okay.
I know we just got a bunch because of the roads that that we're repaving and stuff. I don't know,
Well, I just think now's the time because I have an excavator.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
put it in.
That's
If
great.
the town wants to give me the culvert.
Yep.
That way the town ain't gotta pay.
That's great.
labor and
Yep.
truck and all that stuff,
So,
did you do the bids for the truck yet?
Yes.
yeah,
What did you end up going with, did you or no?
Pink.
we did. Pink Chevy.
Really?
I tried.
We did go with it. It was a Chevy, right? It was a Sierra, GMC Sierra.
GMC, I
GMC.
think. From Weir's,
So
2018. Yeah.
yeah, I mean we had a Ford bid. It was a 17 Ford, not an 18 Ford. They were all four bids were like within $1,000 of each
Yeah,
other.
they were all very comparable.
I think the body of this one was better than I think he felt the body of this one was better than the Ford.
You still got a diesel on?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all the same specs.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think this one's got an Allison transmission, which those things are bulletproof. So so I mean it's
Good.
you get Ford, you get Chevy guys, but I mean again they're all pretty comparable. The engines are pretty comparable. So
Anything save town money?
yeah. So yeah, but I think that's like 8 weeks, I think, isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
And we're getting it rust proofed.
Yeah.
So we're paying a little extra just to get that all done.
Yep.
So, but especially with plowing and the salt and all that crap, it's probably worth it. So,
Right, yeah.
So.
Good.
What else?
That should do it.
You sure?
Yeah. I had my rant.
Okay.
No more swearing.
Yes, sir. I'll go to time. I'll be happy to go to timeout if you
Yeah,
want.
he offered.
I almost went home and got a bar of soap, but I didn't have time.
You can bring it Sunday.
All right.
Yeah? Anybody else?
You got anything, Dan?
You got it.
All those in favor?
Wow.
You're done.
We're done.
Okey-dokey. Okay, Laura, you gotta do
I
that.
know.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
See you Sunday.
Yep.
Brian, Chip.